I don't know what's going on.
What do you think is going on?
Oh, goodness.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Feeling great. Had a good workout.
Nice.
Yeah. So today's our Q&A day. And how are you?
Swell.
Swell.
Swell. Just swell. I'm good. Thanks for asking.
All right. So let me put our question up. Let's see. Why is it so hard for me to feel proud of myself even when I succeed? I think a lot of people have this question, yeah?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, if you've ever achieved something great, but felt like it wasn't enough, this is like a recurring theme for people. You work hard, you reach your goal, but yet you still feel the sense of pride is out of reach. So this feeling is more common than you think, especially if you set impossibly high standards for yourself or constantly seek external validation. So today we're going to explore why it's so hard to feel proud of yourself, even when you succeed, and very importantly, how to change that.
Right. So first of all, let's acknowledge the root of the problem, right? Because it's perfectionism. And when you're working with perfectionism, it's going to be hard for you to feel that you're good enough. So your self-worth is tied to an ideal perfection. No achievement feels good enough. And you may focus on what went wrong, rather than all the things that you've done and you've accomplished. And, that's not going to motivate you and help you keep going forward. But, that's a mindset shift. And that's something that, it's good news and we can do it. And these are 5 strategies to help you start feeling proud of yourself, because you should every time that you do something. Number 1, celebrate your wins. That's pivotal. Sometimes you do a lot of hard work. And I mean, if you're going to do a lot of hard work and you achieve something, you should celebrate that win, whether it's big or small. Acknowledge every step forward and, write them down and reflect on how it's impacted you, and also maybe even how it's impacted the people around you.
Yes, important. Challenge negative self-talk. When critical thoughts creep in, pause and ask yourself if it's true. And then work on replacing those negative thoughts with affirmations and, acknowledge that you did your best, which is, I mean, that's all one can expect from anyone at any given time.
No, definitely. And define your own success. Forget what society's expectations are. Focus on what's truly important to you, what truly matters, and let your own values guide your goals.
Yeah. And practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness. This is something that I think is really challenging for most people, but remind yourself that progress is important. It's not about perfection. And that progress that you're making every day towards your goals, that's a victory worth celebrating. I think some people really get stuck in looking at where they want to go and, seeing that distance as opposed to where I started and how far I've come. And so that, focus on that gain and not the gap of where you want to be, what you want to achieve.
Right. It's it's like five, embrace the gratitude for growth. It's it's that we always hear it's about the journey. It's about the progress. You're making steps towards something. You just don't fall into it. Most of us don't. You have to put some effort in. And when you're putting effort and you're giving your best, you have to focus on, hey, I'm doing it, I'm moving forward. Every day you're inching towards what you want. It's compounding. And shift your focus from what's missing to how far you've come, because it's about the progress and recognizing the growth. Growth deserves recognition.
Absolutely. And, remember, self pride isn't about being perfect, it's about appreciating your journey and valuing your efforts. So start small, be patient, and watch how you can really transform your mindset over time.
Absolutely. And as we begin the new year, a lot of us have goals that we've, set. And if you want to achieve your goals, perfectionism is not your friend. Progress is your friend. Taking the steps to move forward, creating a routine, creating a list, knowing what steps you have to take in order to get to where you want to go. And each one of those steps deserves a celebration, right?
Yeah. And, something that I'd love people to really kind of understand is, if you've done 10 things and you're focused on the one that didn't come out great or needs improvement, but the others, you can look back and say, that I did a good job.
Right.
It's like we focus on the one thing as opposed to the 9 things. And that's a mistake. That will drag you down. It's not a motivator to beat yourself up over and over again over the one thing that, didn't go as well as you might have hoped. And, certainly this is, I think, a learned behavior in many cases, where you learned to hold yourself up to these super high, unattainable standards, where you were told that, it's got to be better. You got to do better. And that's detrimental. It's detrimental to your self-belief and your self-confidence. So stop
Right.
beating yourself up.
Yeah, because that inner dialogue is that inner critic, right? And we need to convert that inner critic into an inner coach, somebody that supports us, that says, hey, you're doing what you need to do, just keep moving forward, focus on what's in front of you, don't worry about what's already happened, just keep going forward. And if you're stuck in perfectionism, that's something from the past. That's something where maybe you got more love and attention from your parents because you were excelling, because you were doing so well, because you only got A's, never got a B, or because you did so much better than one of your other siblings. And that perfectionism, you don't need to carry that anymore. It's again, it's focusing on the progress that you're making.
Right. And going back to that example of, getting praise
Mhm.
for performing, right?
Mhm.
That's something that we can get trapped into. And especially if maybe you didn't get all A's, maybe you got, 3 A's and 2 B's, and your parent is like, how come you didn't get all A's? That will, knock you back. And then holding yourself to those super high standards also is a burden, something that
Mhm.
that that you then are burdening yourself with, and withholding love and appreciation from yourself.
Right. And the greater the love that you have for yourself, the greater self forgiveness, the self compassion, the greater that you'll be able to not only just enjoy your life and live your life, but the people around you, you'll love them more. you'll connect with them, you'll have more forgiveness, you'll be more compassionate towards others. But it starts with you and that inner critic and loving yourself and having these, these virtues, these values, these beliefs will help you to be happy, really.
Yeah, and I just want to add a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh. If your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete.
Mm,
And so
yeah,
the more that we're able to be compassionate towards ourselves, the more we're able to show compassion towards others. So this really allows us to show up more positively in all of our relationships.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, that was a pleasure.
Yes, it was. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you. And we will see everyone back on Tuesday.